Welcome to another episode of Core Discussions. My name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Jay.
All right. So we're missing some people because they once again want to be lame.
We're the only ones that want to show up for work.
Yeah, but hopefully you all appreciate it. You know, you're seeing who the true ride or dies here are, who are truly committed to this show.
All day.
So make sure to leave something in the comments for the others. Grill them. While we're on that subject, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all those great and good things. And thank you all for watching each and every single show. For those of you, or if this is your first time, thank you for tuning in for the first time. All right. As it's that time of season, it is playoff season in the NBA and NHL, even though none of us watch the NHL. So we are going to do one that we have talked about before. We've talked about doing for a little bit now. It is postseason comebacks. All right, this is our favorite. As you know, we generally like to do favorites because it just adds more diversity to what everybody's going to pick and makes it a little bit more fun. And this is postseason. This could be pros or it could be college as well. Gentlemen, are you ready?
I'm as ready as the Patriots were after being down 28-3.
He's locked in.
Yes. That is the one, a good one to bring up. I love it. So we are going to start off with 10. We actually had a two-way tie for 9th place. So the first one we're going to talk about was voted on by myself and Vitamin J. It was the start of a huge legacy. It was a good series. I remember staying up watching game 5 of this in disbelief because it was the crowning moment that in case you were a doubter or you were not a believer, you were a believer, and we knew we had our next NBA legend in the making. It was the coronation. It was 2007 Eastern Conference Finals, Cavs versus the Pistons, where the Cavs were down 2-0 and came back to win the series.
Yeah, which includes LeBron's 25 straight point game.
Which was, the main one.
But this was like when the Pistons were still top. They were the 1 seed. And they were considered really good.
This was also their stretch of like 6 years. I think they made the Eastern Conference Finals.
They had beaten Cleveland just the year before, I think, in the semifinals. And then this year, 2007, LeBron wins 4-2. It's just a phenomenal opponents. Yeah, it was really truly the coronation of him as like the king, especially 25-point game. I watched that. We watched that live, and I was just amazed.
Oh yeah.
I was like, how does he keep score? I was like, everybody knows he's gonna shoot the ball, and he made it. It's amazing performance.
Well, the funny thing is the first 2 games, Pistons won by the same score. It was 76-79. Yes, for those who don't remember, like back in mid-2000s, scoring was a whole lot different.
Especially against the Pistons. These
Pistons were like some drag-out games. But I remember, just watching this guy, and I'm like, dude, this dude keeps scoring. Like they threw like everybody they could at him. They kept switching the person because they're like, I don't know, and then you just kept seeing him going. I already knew he was good, but this was like the moment I this is the best player. Like,
yeah, when we were growing up, I was a fan of LeBron since he came in 2003, but we didn't really start watching the NBA until like 2004 or 2005 probably. I don't know why. I hated Detroit at this time. I couldn't stand him. I didn't like Chauncey Billups. I like him now, but I didn't like him back then. So I was really happy. I think that's probably what did it. Was just LeBron was the one that beat him.
Yeah, Jacob, you would never hate Ben Wallace though.
Oh no! Now I like the Pistons, and I like most of their
You didn't
team.
I didn't like the Pistons. I still like.
Well, Ben Wallace. Yes. I always liked Ben Wallace. I mean, eventually he went to Chicago, then he went to Cleveland. I thought Detroit gave him up on Ben Wallace too soon.
Oh, I'll tell you why I didn't like the Pistons straight up. 2004. One, I didn't like Rasheed Wallace. Going back to when he played for the Jailblazers, as you know, I'm a Shaq fan, so that was kind of a rivalry for a little bit. Portland and Lakers. And then when he went there, they beat 2004. They beat the Lakers. I didn't like him then. Then they beat the Heat the next year when Shaq was on it again in the conference finals. So I really didn't like him because like my boy Shaq's losing to his team. So that's why.
There was only one game in this playoff series with the Cavs and Pistons that went to 100 points, and it took double overtime.
But the Pistons, the impressive thing about them was also they didn't have like a star.
It was just
they were just really good.
Team, you know.
Yeah, I was like very balanced. Chauncey Billups, who was running the point, Rip Hamilton coming off screens, Tayshaun Prince, who was really good defensively, and then you had Wallace, who was kind of their dirty work guy. Same with Ben, both the Wallace guys, good protecting the paint. Antonio McDyess coming off the bench.
I mean, and it's just this Cavs team. When you look at the roster on paper, it's just this team isn't a finals team. You know?
Yeah, I know a lot of people like now try and do revisionist history of like, we'll try and like make this team a lot better than it was. It's like, no, bro, I don't care. Ilgauskas was an all-star. He wasn't that good. He was an all-star because
you will not slander.
Had no centers.
Ilgauskas
That was why.
You will. First of all, Phil, you're not going to slander our bald brother. You would not do that. Not on this show.
Okay, I was going to say, like, people would say, well, he was an all-star. No, he was an all-star because the East had no centers. Like, if you talked about top 10 centers, he was not in that conversation. This might have been the next year LeBron was the best player. I will give Kobe was the next best player in the league the next year. But then after that, I felt this was what propelled LeBron to, okay, he's the guy. He's the face of the NBA. This is it.
And he was 16-6 against Kobe, just so you know.
Preach.
Yeah, how many's he got against Jordan? None.
How many does Jordan have on LeBron? None.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
No, that doesn't help his argument. He's gonna, we're not talking about it. So, all in all, like, good series. We're going to our next, also tied in 9th place. This was voted on by one person. This also came in with 10 points. So obviously it was somebody's number one. We knew this. Yeah, it was clearly, I knew I would be on a lonely island on this one. But we all know the game. We all know I still celebrate this holiday to this day. Back in 2016, but I remember I'd given up. I was over it. I didn't care anymore. I was done. I was about to turn off my phone because I knew the texts were coming. And all I was like hoping for, I was like, just make the score look all right. It is none other than the 2016 Super Bowl. Yes, it did happen in 2017, but that's not how NFL works. The Patriots beating the Falcons in the greatest comeback of all time.
I'm just glad it happened against the Falcons.
Screw the Falcons. Screw Matt Ryan. Screw Kyle Shanahan. Everyone but Julio Jones for the Falcons. Screw them.
Yeah, now, before anybody gets mad that it's not ranked high, remember we said favorite, and obviously, majority of people in our group being anti-Patriots fans.
It ain't our favorite. Will never be my favorite. So, hurry up and talk about it so we can move on.
Like I said with the one before where it cemented LeBron in this. This was the one that I feel to most people cemented Brady as the best. To me, he had already been the greatest. But this is the moment he cemented. He had passed Montana. He had more rings. People were talking about more rings, greater comeback, the story, everything. Man, like the next year they were down by like 10 points to the Jags in the AFC Championship game. I wasn't even worried. I was like, they're fine. They've been down by bigger. I'm not even scared.
I mean, and it was against Blake Bortles.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I have no fear in this.
Jaguars got hosed that game. Peyton better. Go on and so forth. They cheated. Balls deflated.
Yeah, deflated, stole signals. The owner went to a massage parlor. Yeah, I just,
that has nothing to do.
I don't care. I don't care.
This was you are only as good as your owner. Ask Washington fans.
Ask Panthers fans.
So this will not be my favorite, but if this was top 10 best, I would have to put it 1 or 2 because it clearly is the most difficult comeback in football or even sport history. 28-3 down, I think it was how many minutes? Like 3 minutes left in the third quarter, something like that?
That might be like 7 or something, but
4 touchdowns.
It was 228. I think there's 228 was literally near impossible. I do not know how you were coming back. I was dead set on this is over. But luckily, those 53 men had faith. And that's all we needed.
That Edelman catch, they were debating it. Not people here, but on the TV were debating. I was like, that's a catch. I just know it's a freaking catch because the Patriots always get those. So, it's a playoffs. They're going to get it. Unless they're playing Eli Manning or Nick Foles.
I was like, yeah. You know what we said? Again, that meme came up. That's how it feels, all right? That's how we were all saying it.
You haven't even begun. You don't know how anything feels.
And it's the start of Kyle Shanahan being a choke artist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's 2 Super Bowls now that New England won off of the other team getting a fantastic catch, and they still ended up losing. Julio Jones got one, and then who's that one for Seattle?
Jermaine Kearse. Yeah. Oh, that bull crap. Oh man.
But that wasn't. I can't blame the players for that. That was solid coaching. Worst call in Super Bowl history.
Yes.
The other one for sure. You just
What
thought,
a game. I was so hyped. Clutch players come in clutch moments. You know, some people aren't built for the moment. They're just not built for the moment. It just gave everybody a more reason to hate New England because you thought we were obnoxious before. Oh, you should have seen us after that game of how annoying we became. Like, we were insufferable after that game.
I wish you nothing but the rest of your life of Patriot watching. I wish it to all be miserable. Okay,
it's fair enough. Fair enough. I've won 6 Super Bowls. I really can never complain. There's like very little complaints I can have in this life. Yeah. So it is what it is. All right, we're gonna go into our next one. Again, voted on by myself and Vitamin J. Came in with 12 points. It was a hectic year for these two teams. There's been a rivalry from this. The rivalry is not as big because they don't play each other as much as they used to. But this was probably one of the more heights of their rivalry. These teams went at it. I believe they played 4 times that year.
yeah,
And this one happened in the Final Four. It is Duke versus Maryland when Duke was down by 22 points at one point.
yeah, that's crazy. Duke had 3 wins against Maryland that year, and every game they had a 10 or more point deficit. You're down 22 in the Final Four, especially college. Like, yes, you're done. But caliber of Duke players on that team that year: Jay Williams, Battier, Boozer, Dunleavy,
Duhan.
so many stars. Even Maryland has some. Steve Blake, I think, might have been on there.
Yeah, Steve Blake was on it.
Juan Dixon,
Chris Wilcox.
Yeah, Wilcox. There you go. But a few NBA calibers, not stars like some of the Duke players were, but still good enough.
Especially in this day, because now with a lot more 3-point shooting, like 20-point leads don't seem as big as they used to be. But like in 2001, still 3-point shooting wasn't like the big thing. Like they don't shoot them like they do nowadays. So like, yeah, 20-something point lead at any point in the game. Yeah, you're going to win this game.
Did you know that after Duke came back against 22 down against Maryland in the Final Four, Maryland fans then set fires in College Park in response to losing? 5 bonfires, and they called the Final Four Rampage.
They should have done 22 bonfires.
Should have been 22.
Nope. Should have done it. But yeah.
But yeah, I could talk about the 2001 Duke team all day.
I'm sure you could.
You could talk about the 2024 NC State team all day, couldn't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. So we're going to go into our next one. This came in with 14 points. It is number 7. I want to bring you back to a time. Where 2 teams, and this is baseball. You know how little we talk about baseball here. 2 teams were in the World Series. Both of them had long histories of not winning. The world was watching.
Except Bobby.
Yes. You know, we were watching. We're not big baseball. Like before that game, the most baseball I ever watched was like 3 innings.
It's not as appealing as the other sports, but when you have the Cubs and the Indians, both teams that haven't won a World Series in forever.
Cleveland took a 3-1 lead. Cubs came back to make it Game 7. There is a rain delay. We're all thinking the same thing. Crap, we all have to work tomorrow. Because at first they were saying it's going to be an hour and a half.
Yes.
Ended up being 30 minutes. Somebody who's not here went to sleep. It's like, no, don't worry. Just a once-in-a-lifetime thing's happening. Don't worry. It's all good. Go to bed.
The curse is only over 100 years.
Yeah, they had last won in 1908.
And it is none other than 2016 World Series, the Chicago Cubs beating the Cleveland Indians.
Just crazy. Another crazy stat was this is the first World Series appearance for the Cubs since 1945.
Oh, yeah, because they've been close. Because the St. Louis 2003 was...
Yeah, they've had some several close calls. Growing up, I did like the Cubs. I liked Alfonso Soriano.
I was a big Sammy Sosa fan.
Sammy Sosa, yeah. But we cared about baseball, but we didn't really pay attention to it as much until the early 2000s.
I was so upset over the Marlins? It was when the Cubs, the interference.
Oh, 2003 or something like that?
Yeah. When the Cubs, it looked like they had it. I really like Sammy Sosa. So I was hoping they could break the curse with him. But yeah.
This was a beautiful game. We talked about the other day. We think it might be the best baseball game we've ever seen.
It's for sure the best Game 7 I've seen.
It was just a great back and forth game and extra innings. The rain delay was the only part, but it was a beautiful game.
I think the rain delay actually added to it because it just added your anticipation because it was like, we might have to wait 2 hours. Because I remember all of us, we're like texting back and forth. So it just really brought, because we're all thinking like, can't go to bed because I don't want to miss this. Like I'm not missing this because when's the next time I'm going to see something like this?
When they said hour and a half, I was about to go to bed. I was about to. But then when y'all texted and said, they said it's only 30 minutes, I said, all right, son of a bitch.
Like, I'm back.
I'm in.
I'm back. Right when you pull me back in. He's like, all right, cool.
I can do it.
30, I can do that 30, yeah. No,
Bobby,
ready.
Bobby couldn't hack it. He wasn't man enough. He couldn't hang with the big boys.
I was extra motivated because
3 hours. It was happening.
I was going to watch it regardless because I missed Boston. I didn't pay. I paid attention, but I didn't actually see it live when Boston broke theirs. So I told myself, I'm going to see the next streak end.
Yeah, that was it. Unfortunately, baseball, that was like your biggest story.
There's only 3 innings that game that involved no scores at all. Very exciting. A lot of scoring.
Also, like, I remember the Facebook reaction. Like, Facebook, Twitter was all blowing up. Like, people that I know don't even watch sports, but were like tweeting and putting up posts about this game. And I'm like, you don't even watch sports. You don't even like sports. Besides Bobby, everybody stayed up for this game. And we all were just going to be like, look, we're all going to be tired tomorrow, but we all know why we're all tired tomorrow. Yeah. We'll all suck it up.
This World Series was so big. There was like one Cubs fan that drove because he told his dad that they were going to watch the World Series together if the Cubs made it or something like that. So he went to his dad. His dad unfortunately passed away, so he listened to the game on the radio or something with his dad at the cemetery. So it's like that's how much it meant to people.
And it finally gave people off of Steve Bartman? Is that what his name?
Yeah, Bartman.
Yeah, Bartman. Poor Bartman.
Leave that poor guy alone, losers. Dang. But yeah, finally got some people off his case because now they have the World Series again.
All right, we're going to go into our next one. We are going back to baseball. This was something that had never been done in professional sports or recorded professional sports at the moment. It was back in 2004. Coming in with 16 points was the Red Sox versus the Yankees, American League Championship, the 3-0 comeback by the Red Sox, which was the first time ever in professional sports that had ever happened.
I was upset because around this time I hated the Yankees. I just didn't like them, and I was upset that Boston was down 3-0.
I was actually rooting for the Yankees, so
you liked the Yankees growing up.
Yeah, I pretended I was a Yankees fan for a little bit. I really don't care about any of the teams, to be honest, but I'm not a huge baseball fan. But I pretended to be at the time. But after the Yankees were up 3-0, I remember Derek Jeter said, someone asked him, so what's the most important game? He said, no, the most important game is this next one, because if we lose this game, we're going to give them all the momentum, and then they believe that they will have a shot to win this ALCS.
Jeter could feel a disturbance in the forest.
And also, I think what makes this even bigger was, again, like we talked with the Billy Goat curse, this was now the Babe Ruth curse of the Red Sox hadn't won in years.
Curse of the Bambino.
Like now Boston is like title town, so it's a whole different. But like for us, remember at this point, Red Sox like had several World Series where they blew it, where they blew opportunities, blew chances, had it in the bag, and just threw it away.
Their last 3 World Series losses all were Game 7 losses. That's crazy.
Yeah, one of those, the Bill Buckner, was that one of them?
86.
Yeah, Bill Buckner goes through his legs. And like Boston sports were in a drought. They were kind of suffering. Whereas now it's like whatever, Boston, they have all their sports teams. They've seen all their teams.
Even the Bruins got some, I believe.
Yeah, Bruins won. It was like everything. They watched everything win. But like this point, it was like right now it's like really the Patriots were the only thing. The Red Sox had consistently let them down. They had been good and had many shots, but they just consistently let them down. And it was versus the Yankees. And I think what makes it even that much more versus your rival, too, you come back. Because I thought it was over, too. I was like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, most people would. But when you look at this Boston team, they were absolutely loaded. I don't think there's ever been a more intimidating back-to-back batters than David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez. I mean, it's hard to get much better than that. That's very intimidating. And then you had Pedro Martinez, who's one of the best pitchers of all time. And people don't care about his political opinion, but Curt Schilling was a hell of a player, and it also gave us in the World Series the famous bloody sock moment.
Yes, it did. Also, to add more to it, this was coming from that Yankees dynasty. They had just won all of them World Series in a row. Still a good Yankees team. Very good. I mean, they've done it. They've done another 0-3 comeback. So they've done it in hockey. In NHL, there's been one. I believe NBA is just still the only sport that has it.
Oh, yeah? Well, NFL's never done it.
3-0 comeback.
Yeah, never.
Never been done.
Yep. That might be a streak they might keep. That might be a streak I feel they might keep.